All right, let's talk about IELTS. If you've ever studied for this exam, you know the feeling. You hit the multiple choice section and think, okay, a little break. This should be easy. But it almost never is, right? It feels like every question is a carefully laid trap. Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain, look at how these traps are built, and give you the blueprint to beat them.
I mean, on the surface, it looks so innocent. It's a format we've all been doing since we were kids. 4 options, one little bubble to fill in. You've got a 25% chance just by guessing. This should be the easiest part of the whole reading test.
And that's the first trap. Believing it's easy is exactly how you start losing marks. This isn't really about how good your English is. It's about whether or not you fall for a very, very clever illusion. So, here's the big secret. These questions aren't just a simple reading quiz. They're testing something very specific that we'll call decision discipline. Basically, can you stay cool, calm, and logical to make a precise choice when the clock is ticking and every option is trying to trick you? That's the real test. So let's dive into this illusion. We've got to understand what the test makers are actually trying to measure when they write these questions.
See, this is what's really going on. They don't care about the general vibe you got from the passage. They want to know, can you spot the tiny difference between two very similar ideas? Can you stop your own brain from filling in the gaps with assumptions? Basically, the test is engineered to hunt for careless readers, and these questions are the bait.
And this hunt for careless readers is built around one single massive myth. A myth that absolutely destroys scores because so many students believe it's true. This is the trap in its purest form. The myth is that you read the text, then you just pick the answer that feels right, the one that sounds correct. But the reality is the test is deliberately designed to make at least 2, maybe even 3 of the options sound perfectly correct. They want you to use your gut feelings so they can penalize you for it. Let that one sink in. You're not just losing marks, you are actively donating them back to the test. The right answer isn't about sounding good, it's about finding the only option that perfectly matches the meaning in the text. Okay, so if trusting our instincts is the enemy, what's the solution? Well, it's a cold, hard system, a non-negotiable method. This is what separates the high scorers from everyone else. They turn a guessing game into a predictable process. And here it is, the absolute golden rule. You never, ever read the options first. Why? Because the second you read those options, they plant misleading ideas in your head. They're like little seeds of doubt. Then your brain starts scanning the text looking for those ideas, instead of just reading to find out what the passage actually says. This 4-step method is your new blueprint. It's simple. First, you only read the question itself. That's your mission. Second, you scan the passage and find the exact paragraph where the answer is hiding. Third, you read just that one section, but you read it slowly, like a detective. And fourth, this is the pro move. You predict the answer in your own words before you even glance at their options. All right, now for the fun part. Let's go behind enemy lines and dissect how these traps are actually built. Once you see the architecture, you can spot them from a mile away. These are the 4 horsemen of the IELTS multiple choice apocalypse. They're the most common distractors they use to trick you. Let's break them down. First up, this one is so sneaky. It gives you an option that is 100% true according to the passage. You see it, you recognize the words, and you think,
Yep, that's it. But while the statement is true, it doesn't actually answer the specific question they asked. It tests if you're thinking, not just matching words.
Ah, the classic extreme option. You gotta remember, academic writing is cautious. It's full of words like might, suggests, often. So when you see an option with a really strong absolute word like always, never, or only, a huge red flag should go up in your brain. It's almost always bait.
Oh, this one is the most dangerous of all because it's designed to catch people who are rushing. The first half of the sentence is perfect. It matches the passage exactly, and you're nodding along. But then the second half quietly adds a little twist or a piece of information that just wasn't there. You have to read every single word of every option.
And finally, we have this little monster. This trap uses smart-sounding synonyms and paraphrasing to look like a match. But hidden inside is a tiny word like not, or a prefix that completely flips the meaning on its head. It looks right, but it actually means the exact opposite of what the passage said. So, look, knowing the traps is half the battle, for sure. But the other half is all mental. It's about a simple but incredibly powerful shift in how you even think about the question. You have to stop asking which answer is right. That's a fool's game when they're all designed to sound right. Instead, you need to become a prosecutor. Your new question is, which options can I prove are wrong? You hunt for the lies. You look for the evidence in the text that kills options A, B, and D. The one that's left standing, no matter how strange it sounds, has to be the answer. And here's what a real match looks like. The passage might say a decline in productivity, and the correct option says a reduction in efficiency. The words aren't the same, but the meaning is identical. This is what you're looking for, a paraphrase of meaning, not a match of keywords. Now look at a trap. The passage is cautious. Something may contribute to an outcome. But the option exaggerates and says it is the main cause of it. See the difference? It's changed the meaning from a possibility to a certainty. That makes it provably wrong. You can eliminate it. I want to finish up by completely reframing how you think about these questions. And I want to be crystal clear about something. That's the word. They're not actually hard. The English isn't impossible, but they are brutally unforgiving. They punish rushing, they punish assumptions, and they punish emotional gut-feeling decisions. They only reward cold, methodical, boring logic. So what's the big takeaway here? This is the winning formula. You read the question stem, find the location, predict the answer in your own words, and then ruthlessly eliminate the lies. If you do this, something amazing happens. Multiple choice questions stop being a lottery. They become a system. They become predictable. And a predictable exam is an exam you can beat.